Hello, everyone, and welcome to this first part of the Kubernetes 134 retro. I'm Fred. I'm the emeritus advisor of this release, and I'll be hosting this meeting. This meeting falls under the code of conduct of the Kubernetes community, which can be summed up as be excellent to each other. This meeting is being recorded, so be mindful with what you say, with your camera as well. If you don't want to show up on YouTube later, you are free to turn it off. I'm going to share the link to the retro agenda in the chats. When I find the chat, it's here. Right now, this isn't it. Here it is. I've heard the message sending, but I didn't say anything here.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, it was it was an AI bubble on top. Sorry. Right. So I'm sharing my screen as well. Let me see. Should we go directly into the new comments, or should we spend some time in the previous retro follow-up?
We can follow up on these first. We also need
Okay.
to select a note taker.
Okay. Anyone? I can take notes as well. So, but I'm happy to have someone else take it. So, not sure how do you want to do it?
Oh, your call. I usually make somebody volunteer, and if nobody volunteers, I pick somebody at random.
I mean, in your honor, I'll follow that up.
All right, somebody volunteer, or he's just going to pick somebody.
I can do it if nobody else volunteers.
Perfect. Yeah. Oof. Okay. So we can start point by point. Well, add yourselves to the attendee lists, which I suppose we have it here. Yes, for the part one. And we can go line by line on this previous retro follow-up. First point, check that the comms handbook explicitly states that the mid-cycle block can't go out before code freeze. It's already in the timeline, but possibly not in the handbook. This was assigned to Ryota.
Yeah. Sorry. All the kind of handbook updates have been. There was a pull request created, but I didn't really follow up on that, so I need to wrap it up. We'll work on it in the next a few weeks. So still work in progress, not yet done, but tracked.
Excellent. Thank you. So I guess that we should keep it as a to-do with a comment saying that's still ongoing, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah, in progress is better, actually. I'll continue. So second point, automation for release signal and release notes needed. It is CAT. This is
that is yours. Also ongoing. Because that is quite an undertaking. Unfortunately, conveniently, we have Marco in this call. Marco, Krell sucks. But we need engineering resources to fix that. So maybe it's worth talking about doing that as like an LFX mentorship type of deal, but we simply don't have the resources to make the changes that need to be made right now. I know Drew was interested in helping with some of that though.
Yeah,
Mm.
I would love to have or kind of understand the requirements and kind of more details on what that looks like.
Okay. We will talk later then.
Can we please make sure it is documented, like what is required and what is needed? And then we
Yes.
can work out from there.
Yeah, of course.
Excellent. So moving along, third point, adding metrics for docs and comms in meeting notes.
This, yeah, this was done for the docs placeholder PR opening. It was added by the docs team, but it's not in the template. If it looks all right to me, I'll add it at the end of the cycle so that it can be carried forward to the next cycle.
Yeah, I think that was a duplicate of
Actually-
the one below that's assigned to me is a duplicate of that one.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we can.
So this is just a change it at the end of the cycle because we just copy the previous template
Right.
for the next cycle.
So should I delete one of them?
Yeah, delete mine.
Okay.
Because Viome's is more specific.
Oh, sorry, Viam, you're messing around.
Yeah, I'll
Just-
delete the rule.
Yeah. This is just one cook. I don't think we can add comments to the status, right? So it's we
No.
really can't add any comments there. But okay, anchor time zone of the release meeting to UTC.
Jeremy's not here. But I will bother him.
This is about what? This is not about the actual scheduling of the release meeting or the weekly ones, right?
The weekly ones, yeah. The SIG release meetings. They're
The
in
SIG release meeting.
Yeah,
So
they're not anchored to UTC, so they jump around on people's calendars, but we're in the process of changing the meeting time in general right now and changing to a bi-weekly cadence. So this will get fixed regardless.
Yeah,
I
understood.
think there's a poll open in SIG release for new meeting time.
There is.
There was a doodle sent out.
Yeah.
Add to release lead handbook the dates of cuts on Wednesdays. Nina, which sure if Nina is here. I don't
Nina
think.
is not on the call, I believe, but I also have a couple of handbook, the release lead handbook as well as the template that is there for the release lead. So I will just kind of push all of these in together. I'll just assign this to myself as well. Oh, there is a PR open. I believe this is merged. Yeah, this one is merged. So this is done.
Oh, excellent. Well, I can
Yeah, I'll just
go
copy
there.
it. Yeah.
So for yep. Yeah. Perfect. I think this covers it. Yeah, the Wednesday stuff. Done. Excellent. Deprecate release bug triage and rename release CI signal to release signal. This was
yeah, that was Grace, who's not here in the call, and that requires Slack admins to do.
Yeah.
We can't do that ourselves. So reassign that to me since she's no longer a sub-project lead, and I will chase down the Slack admins.
So contact Kate's infra about Nginx redirects.
Yeah, so for this one, Angular
Just
started it.
Angular's, yeah. Yeah.
Angular started it for the enhancements board and a few other URLs. I have opened a PR regarding moving away from Bitly and moving everything to the Nginx servers that we run. But there were some concerns. I think Ben was reviewing that PR. I addressed some comments. The drawback of that approach is that it's like a two-click approach. So because we don't want to overwhelm the Nginx server, it's like we add the link to a markdown file, and in that markdown file we add links to the release meeting, the retro doc, the boards, enhancements, CI signal, bug triage, and all of that stuff in a single README doc that lives in SIG release. So the only drawback is that you have to click twice instead of, let's say, entering a link once. So that was the drawback, just because we don't have maybe enough infra capacity or a dedicated server for running these redirects. So that was kind of a temporary approach. It's still open. I will ping Ben again for review. First of all, are there any concerns with that approach? I know it's not ideal, but
Not for me. I mean, if it's a constraint, so you have to do what's best with what you have, and the gain is worth it, I think.
yeah, Bitly is
But I
adding
mean,
yeah.
Okay. Find resources to work on CREL for Windows or access to Azure subscription. Yeah, this is likely to solve the perennial issues with shadows as well that try to run CREL in Windows and it doesn't work.
Yeah, also Jeremy's not here,
Okay, so let's move
so
on.
I'll ask him.
Yeah. Improve branch management docs, create coherent post RC0 task list doc, generally make branch management a boring job. A tall order from Matteo. Is Matteo here?
I don't believe so. He is taking a break after this cycle for a couple of
Okay.
months, though. So we may not see much movement on that from him. It's worth pinging him to see,
Okay.
though.
Yeah.
Actually,
Go ahead.
yeah, sorry. Actually, a lot can be done on this side. Like there is a merged PR that has actually quite a very good description of what's going on and what are you supposed to do, how are you supposed to do. There are some comments that are to be addressed, and we are working on finding someone to do that. And the latest update is that Matteo is working on the RC0 docs. So we are probably, but that is probably going to wait for RC0 to happen because, yeah, those docs should be tested and we should make sure that, yeah, it works. But generally, the docs are very good and all shadows did really well with the new docs, so great job on that.
Yeah, just one comment. Matteo has also added a comment in the doc for this action item.
Yes,
He has added
it
that
is.
this will
Yeah.
be done by
Will be done by
RC0.
RC0. Yeah.
Yeah.
Scheduled for the first week of August. PR will be finalized after. I'll be dog fooding, guinea pigging the dogs for myself during the task. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I should have noticed this.
It looks like
Right. Yeah,
know-
go on.
it looks like he's about 60 to 80% done, he says. So
Yeah.
good progress being made.
In progress. Yeah. I think the progress is fair. So next point, release subproject leads. Release subproject lead will reach out to SIGs on user-facing tracking issues.
So if that means fighting with SIG leads who don't really want to write documentation, that has been done. If that means fighting with them about sneaking keps into releases, that has also been done.
Okay,
So-
so it's, yeah, either way, it's done. Great,
Yes.
perfect.
Hopefully we don't see the problem with sneaking caps in this cycle, but you know,
Yeah,
keep an eye out.
excellent. Next topic, look into automation to check user-facing code changes merging in. Vyom?
Yeah, this was supposed to be like a script which checks before the announcements team start their work, it checks all the commits that have been made and checks whether there were any code changes that were made that were user facing. So this requires some tinkering with the GitHub API and exporting, no, utilizing some metadata that is in those PRs. It is still to be done. It is an engineering task, and yeah, it's in to-do.
Yeah, okay. Right. Release deadline set to a specific time and schedule. Comms. Also yours and Nina. And Ryota, sorry.
I think this
Yeah,
was done.
Done.
No?
This is done. Yes, it just as the idea. Sorry, it's already done. There. Apologies. Next one, comms handbook updates. Guidelines for comms, feature blocks, like announcements, coordinate localization team, SIG release label for all the block pieces. Ryota.
Ryota, if you're talking, you're muted in
Yeah,
Zoom.
you're on mute.
Sorry, I was on something else. What was it again?
Yeah. It's that this point here, comms handbook updates, guidelines for comms deadlines, feature block should have the front meta template, Slack announcements, coordinate localization team, and SIG release label.
Right. Yeah, it kind of goes along with the other points. So I think my updates or the comms related handbook updates could be kind of consolidated into one. I think there are like 3 separate ones. But yeah, all in, like there are a couple of pull requests that are open, need to be finalized. So it's still work in progress. We'll try to
Okay.
get that done in the next
In
few weeks.
progress. Okay, excellent. In progress then. Almost at the end of this. Also, docs handbooks updates, SIG release label for all the block pieces in KW. This is right.
No,
So
that's docs and that was comms. They're different, right?
Okay, this is docs, yeah. So, and that's
Yeah.
from Ryan, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So last time I faced like a couple of issues, which were issues as in those were not documented, and I made those changes, but I think a few more are left. So I'll probably update those and raise a PR soon. Those are basically 1 day prior and the release day related tasks. So I'll try to get the PR in within probably next week, so that it will help the current docs lead as well. So that's all. We can mark it as in progress.
In progress, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, you're the one messing with that. Yeah. I'll move on. Bring updating the release announcement with the feature blogs links to SIG docs, Ryota.
Yeah, so I did bring it up in the SIGDocs meeting, I think a couple of times. And essentially what we wanted to do was to get the feature blog links. There will be like more than a dozen feature blogs each release these days. And we wanted to make sure that that's part of the release announcements and something that we can do after the release is made. So release announcement itself needs to be updated after the fact that the release announcement is published. So that there was no concern per se, except that we need to coordinate with localization and how we actually do it is going to be a bit of a question. So I did raise it. It's sort of in progress. We haven't really sorted out how we want to do it. So yeah, I'll follow up on the SIGDocs once again to see how we can do that or whether we want to do that. So yeah, please just keep it as to do or in progress. Either works fine.
Okay. That's fair. Let's keep it in progress. And with that, we're done the follow-up from the previous retros. We can move
Right.
directly into the new topics for 134, starting with the what went well in 134.
Good.
Vyom,
Before we do that, I
Yeah.
have one thing to add here.
Okay.
One pattern is that we copy what is remaining from the previous retro, but we don't, let's say, copy it from the retro before that. There were items that weren't done in the retro before that as well, but we don't track those items. We only track the items that were discussed in the last cycle. For example, there was an item in, I think, I don't remember the release, maybe 132. It was around the issue that when PRs are reverted, they are still mentioned in the release notes because those PRs don't have any user-facing changes, and then they are not really removed per se. So there was a discussion to have a kind reverted label on PRs so that it's easy to track reverted PRs, and then it's easier to remove them from the release notes. It was not carried forward, but it was still unresolved in those retros. So this is maybe a topic for the how we handle the retro itself. How
Yeah.
far back do we want to copy the action items from? Or should I just copy everything in this that is pending? Because we need a view of what's pending and what's
Yeah, because I mean, if you go far enough, it's bound. There's bound to be stuff that isn't applicable anymore because the changes have already superseded whatever is there. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and it makes sense because otherwise you'd silently drop things that might be re-emerge from scratch every other release. I would say if we can try to go back like 3 releases and capture the unresolved things and then do a critical analysis of those and see what still makes sense. More than that, I don't think it's likely that they are very applicable. But I mean, this is just my take. There are others here better positioned to have a strong opinion on it.
So this has come up before, like this specific issue and an issue of like people forgetting that they have items assigned to them because it's just chilling in a Google Doc and there's like that nobody looks at after the retro is done. It has previously been discussed that we use a GitHub project board to manage action items from the retro, but nobody has ever implemented that.
okay. Well, do we add that action item or do we add that action item to create a GitHub in a board to track all these issues, create tickets for them? I think just copying the text, adding it as not an issue, but as just like the GitHub thingy, you can add it to the board. It doesn't need to be an issue. And then just assign someone. Is that a good enough solution? Because that wouldn't take very long. It's like you can set it up real quick. Although permissions, etc., it would be then that's the game. You have to add it, GitOps. So do we want to add an action item for that?
That's your call, boss.
All right, I'll add an action item for that. But this is for this release, right? Okay, I'll just add it to the end. Cool, Fred, we can start with this cycles retro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect. No,
oh, sorry, I was just gonna say I can assist with that if you like.
Yeah, for sure, Josh. That's cool. I'll assign it to me and you. Yeah, let's start.
Right, so let's start. What went well in 134? Vyom, you have the two topics here, so take it away.
Yeah, I think apart from some tooling issues and some SIGs being slightly unresponsive certain times, it went pretty smooth. I think all the sub-teams worked in a really structured manner and the approach was correct. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the sub-teams that have been doing the incredible work that they have been. And yeah, it's just a thank you to everyone. And the next point is about release branch management. It was really good to have multiple shadows under release branch management, that too in a distributed across the time zone. So it was easier for the release signal team to give a signal and then for a release to start. So that was also really good to see. And it would help the release team tremendously if we can, let's say, maintain this pattern going forward, having X number of release branch management shadows, because that helps the release team. And it makes it easier for release branch management as well, I believe.
Perfect. Any additional comments here? I mean, I have nothing to add except saying that it's indeed being smooth. So at least as far as I'm able to follow, obviously there are the inner work that escapes me, but apart from from a more outside perspective, everything looks really progressing nicely. So congrats, everyone. If we don't have any feedback for either of those points, let's move on into the what could have gone better in 134. Starting with the branch
Martin.
manager.
That's me.
Yeah. Perfect.
I would rather, if it is possible, that we move this topic for the next retro, because we have some ideas going on that are yet to be discussed. So by the next retro, we will have, let's say, a better idea of what we want to do. So I would do it that way.
Cool.
Okay. So let's move on to what will we do differently in 134 and beyond. Beyond enhancements teams tracking PRs.
Yeah, this was brought up by the PRR team, that they want the enhancement team to have people go through the exception process if they miss the PRR freeze deadline. This would require coordination with the production readiness reviewers, because that's an external dependency, because they'll need to review. So based on their availability, we would either approve or reject. So they would have to be more involved in that decision. As mentioned by the production and readiness reviewers, if your KEP is ready for review, but it hasn't received a review till the deadline, you don't need to file an exception process. That's just the brief summary of the issue, and it's open for discussion. Jenny has yeah, go ahead, Kat.
I already agreed to do this. So Mache came to us several months ago, like maybe a month before this cycle started, and asked for this. We already agreed to it. This is in fact happening. And yes, enhancements should be sending PR freeze and enhancements freeze reminders. I don't really think that you need to worry about sending emails like back to back like that. It's fine if they're only a week apart, but like, you know, include the deadlines, both deadlines in the first email you send, and it's fine. But yeah, this impacts us too if we don't do this, because the enhancements team sometimes gets snapped at by KEP owners who missed PRR, and it somehow becomes our fault. And it is not our fault. It is their fault. So we're doing this for our own good and for PRR's good. But it is happening. This is a thing.
All right, Fred, you're on mute.
You're right. So, but you're attentive to my to my lips. So that's thank you for that. I was saying, I was going to move to the next point. I think that we have captured
Yeah.
the comments here, which is about the automation of adding PRs, targeting dev on K websites.
Yes, so this is a comment about the doc stream tracks the PRs that should be created for the KEPs, but there are other PRs that are made to the dev future release branch that the docs team does not have an automation to track. They have to manually add those PRs to the board and they are added to the enhancements board. Now, this is a good enough hack. Like if you want to be, I don't think we would get to setting up another board, but this is a good enough hack to add it to the enhancements board afterwards. Although it does not belong on the enhancement board because it's not an enhancement. Basically, it's just a doc update for some previous enhancement or some previous code changes. There is no automation for this right now. Do we want to add this automation? A. And B is, do we want to add these PRs to the enhancements board?
So these PRs do have to be tracked, period.
Yep.
Right? Creating a separate board is not going to happen. I think it's preferable to have like some awkward PRs hanging out at the bottom of the board versus dealing with managing an entirely separate board when the whole point of switching to the GitHub projects board was to centralize everything and to not be using a Google Sheet anymore. So like there has to be an organizational solution here. Like we just give it a different
View
give it a
here.
different type in the project board so that enhancements can filter it out, or a different tab. Like, but this does need to go in the existing enhancements tracking board. We're not going to create a separate one for this.
So I think we already have a different type for this, right? I think what we ran into on the enhancements team this cycle is we just need to kind of harden our filtering a little better.
Yeah. Like this is just a filtering issue.
But there's the automation aspect as well. These are not automatically added to the board.
They are not, but what would that automation look like to you?
Any PR that is open against the dev future release branch, the PR title or the PR itself is added to the board. There's already a cron that adds the enhancements to the enhancements board. Modifying that script would be again hacky, not ideal, but that can be done.
Okay. I don't have a problem with somebody looking into that. So somebody want to see if that's feasible? Because yeah, it is like manual and annoying.
Sounds like an action item.
Sure does.
Any volunteers?
Yeah, I'd be willing to help.
Thank you.
I might need some direction on where our cron jobs are.
Yeah, I'll help you with that. Don't worry. What's the next item? Is it me? Yeah, we can discuss the next item, Fred.
Yes. So Drew, I mean, you can take it. It's the decoupling of DocsView from the enhancements board.
Yeah, I think we just touched on that. I was just
Yeah.
curious if we wanted to create another board or slightly pedantic if we wanted to rename the enhancements board to something different. But it sounds like we have a good solution for this already.
Yeah, we should probably rename the board, like, because it isn't just for enhancements tracking anymore. Like everything is in there. So we should probably like call the board something else. But
Yeah, like release items, tracking, something like that.
yeah, something like that.
Sounds like an action item. Any name
Sure.
suggestions? I think this should be a trivial
Assign it to
change.
me to deal with next cycle.
Cool, Gant.
Okay, so I'll move on to try to pack the most amount of items in this part. Lead progress template updates, Yom.
Yes, this is just a placeholder item that I added. I have the specific updates that I want to make to the template in my to-do. So it's just I'll assign an action item to myself and I'll open the PR for this.
Okay. And the next one, Prel again.
Is it me? Yeah, this issue is with Krell. So one thing I noticed, the way the docs team have to work with Krell is that once you create a PR with Krell and then you receive feedback on that PR, for example, renaming a release notes to something particular, Krell isn't really built for that. You cannot rename it. So how Krell basically works is that it generates release notes, the YAML and the JSON from scraping the GitHub data. And then whenever you have to edit or modify a release note, there is a map file, which is like a patch, like Debian patch, that is created. And that patch is then applied on the original release notes to update that. So this workflow only works when you are creating the PR for the first time. After that, this workflow stops working. I was able to comment out some lines of code, some checks that Krell had, and was able to kind of hack around and generate this stuff. But it's not ideal. And the problem with this is that if the release notes team have updated the map file of a particular release notes, it wouldn't be reflected in the changelog markdown or the JSON or YAML or whatever it is until the release notes is generated the next time. So it's an n-1 kind of update. So when the tooling runs again, it sees, oh, the map has changed or the patch has changed. Let me change the release notes again. But when you modify the patch in the Git tree, and if you try to, let's say, Krell update release notes, let's say fix release notes based on the current set of patches, Krell cannot do that. So that kind of brings in outdated release notes in a sense. So I think this was a problem with the tooling. Again, this would be quite an engineering undertaking because it would require quite some rewrite of the code. I started digging into it a bit, but it would require some engineering power to fix it.
And how should we take it from here?
You know what? I think we need an action item for an issue that tracks all of the problems we currently have with Krell, because there are so many piling up that require engineering work that I am beginning to lose track.
Yeah, I think that could
agree.
be a good place to add requirements too for each of these.
Yeah.
Okay, so to do could be create a central issue, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
added an action item.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Should I go
Yeah,
ahead?
updating the enhancements handbook, also yours to change the guidelines for marking cap abstract for enhancements
Yeah,
freeze.
there was one cap. So technically, if you're following the handbook, that cap had open PRs for updating that cap. But the handbook nowhere mentions that the cap shouldn't have open PRs for updating the cap to be tracked as to be marked as tracked for enhancements freeze. I think the handbook, if someone is like following the handbook, it is kind of misleading. So this is just a small action item to update the enhancements handbook to make sure when things are going into enhancements freeze, it technically means that the enhancement has been frozen, like the technical definition of the enhancement has been frozen to a larger extent. So that is one action item that I'll add for the enhancements handbook.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Any volunteers for this?
I noticed Jenny has a comment right there that she'll
Oh.
pick up.
Yeah, I'm updating a bunch of other stuff, so I can just add that in too.
Cool. Thank you, Jenny. Do you want me to add anything particular to update enhancements handbook? I'm just adding this one point.
No, I have a to-do list, so I have it on my list.
Okay. Cool.
Next one, enhancement type major change. Is there a use for this, or can we get rid of it and use graduating for caps staying in the same stage? Does anyone depend on this field? Also, Jenny.
So I want to go through the last few boards and see when the last time that type was actually used. I think I don't know that there's any value in removing it because like it has a clear use case. It's just that that use case does not come up very often. And it's also kind of difficult for the enhancements team to determine like what constitutes a major change to something. Actually, you know what? I can think of an example when that should have been used. When we had the issue with API machinery sneaking keps in with the justification that it wasn't changing stages, so it didn't need to be tracked, that probably should have been tracked as a major change. So perhaps we instead adjust the definition of major change here to like really specify that that's what we mean and make a concerted effort to use it. We'll have to communicate that like really aggressively to other SIGs so that they know that this is a thing we're doing and like really, really, really understand that changes while still staying in the same stage are still trackable. But I don't know, maybe that's a good solution. Jenny, it's your item. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm wondering if this field is even used by anyone, because I know in the past I looked back a few releases and I didn't find any major change enhancement
Okay.
until like 130 maybe. There was like a single one that was marked as major change. And I know the past two cycles we didn't use this, even though we did have enhancements that were like staying at the same stage. So it probably should have been marked as major change, but I wasn't aware that we were using it.
What do you think it was marked as instead? Graduating or?
Yeah, we used graduating.
Okay, so part of this is just like a lack of awareness that the field type
Exists.
exists. Okay. So this is maybe also a well, yeah, this is an update the description to make it more clear what it is item, I think.
Okay, so like if something's staying at the current stage, do we still need to decide whether it constitutes a major change or not? Or as long as it's being tracked and it's the same stage as the last release, then it counts as major change?
That's what I would say. Like
Okay.
if it's making like any change to how a user interacts with it, which endpoints it affects, that kind of stuff, like that's significant enough that it has to be tracked. So it's significant enough to be called a major change, even if it's staying at the same stage. And we should only be seeing this with like alpha and beta. We should never be seeing that with a stable enhancement or GA. But alpha and beta, I think we can expect to see that in use. So this is a like terminology discussion of, are we having like alpha 2s for keps, or are we calling it a major change? But
Okay, yeah, I have seen some caps label it as like alpha 1, alpha 2 and stuff. So
Yeah.
would those be
Those would
considered?
be major changes to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Like if they're doing an alpha 2, that is track it as a major change, IMO.
Yeah,
So,
sounds good.
okay.
Okay. Giving time for Vyom to capture everything.
It's actually difficult to grasp
Yeah.
the context and type at the same time. I
It
think this
is.
is a
It's
kind
really
of
hard.
yeah. Some people do this for a living. Like
Yeah.
judges have stanos that actually note whatever the judgment the judge is giving. They do it in a special script. It's called shorthand.
Yeah,
So
it's
that
very cool.
yeah.
Watching those
So
people
that-
work is absolutely wild.
I have seen that. My parents are lawyers, so I have seen like how that thing looks like. Yeah, some people are really quick with it. They just jot down everything someone is saying, which is incredibly hard.
So next point, also Jenny, I think we are close to the end and we have 10 minutes, so rushing in. You can take it, Jenny, perhaps
Yeah,
you're
okay.
better explain than
Yeah, so
I.
for enhancements freeze, like one of the things we check is the kept@YAML, and we only check these 2 fields are right. But we did notice, like, incidentally, there were like other fields that hadn't been updated in multiple releases, and so sometimes we just pointed it out to the KEP authors, oh, you should update these, but we're not going to block on it. Just wondering, like, should we start enforcing these, or it seems like no one's enforcing the other fields get updated, like milestone.stage and stuff.
Yep. So that's a known issue, and it's tied in with another issue with PRR and the kept.yamls, but the proposed solution is that we version keps, but it requires engineering work. So we would love to have this fixed. For now, it's I think at the enhancements lead's discretion how militant they want to be about the caps, because like a bunch of this stuff should be caught by PRR and it just doesn't get caught. Unfortunately. But yeah, like just reminding them, hey, you need to update these two is super helpful. But not blocking on it is also fine, unless you want to. You're within your rights to block on it.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, it would be useful if there was some linter that caught that, like Vyom said.
It would be.
Yeah, let's not make enhancements team a human linter which checks each and every field because that is daunting.
Yeah, you have enough to do, so you don't have to like comb through and enforce this. IMO.
So, I mean, I guess that ultimately this depends on the adoption of version caps and or the creation of some automated tool to compare the last version of. I remember doing something like this. I actually was writing something at the time. It pulled so there's the link for the latest version of the cap should always be the latest version of the cap, and cleaning up the sections, comparing the sections with the ones that are being used, and detecting if there's a difference, namely if there are things that are missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can take a look on what I did, but I can't promise that I'll that I'll deliver something. Anyway,
That's okay. You can
I'll
take the
a
action
look.
item, and if you can't finish it, we just
Yeah.
transfer it to somebody else. That's totally
Perfect.
fine.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So yeah, you can add me there. I was halfway there, but I remember that the difficulty was that sometimes there are people add additional content in front of the header lines and stuff like that. So it's not as simple as it could. But well, with a fresh pair of eyes, maybe I can do something that is workable. And we're almost there, and fortunately, we're almost there as well in terms of the items. And there's a final one that I've opened, mostly in this popped up in a conversation that we had during the SIG Contribex meeting, and it's about the. So every release, there's this discussion of, well, it would be nice if we could do more work aligned with the comms leads that is in the release team, because the comms team in SIG Contribex comms, I mean, has access to the social media platform, buffer, etc. Also the Kubernetes.dev site. So it would be perhaps interesting to provide some awareness to the incoming comms leads about what exists, and perhaps explore some ways that tool chain and even the team there could be of help. Now, I don't have any specific examples of exactly what, but the idea would be to identify a couple of important things that could be interesting, and then add to the role book that, I mean, the new comms lead would just drop in the Slack channel and say, I'm the new comms lead here, and the comms team there could say, okay, we have this, if you want to use it, ping us, etc. What do you think?
So, I don't know that it should be. I do wish that there was more like collaboration between the release team and contributor comms, but I don't know that it should be release comms that calls that shot. I think it should be the release lead.
Or the lead, yeah.
Yeah. But like, yes, I do wish that there was some kind of like, at least when I was the lead, I had to go to Contribex and say, hey, can we get a tweet about this?
Exactly that.
It would be much better if some of that was just like expected. Like it was just expected that in particular for me, it was the release announcement. There is no automation that contributor comms tweets or posts on Blue Sky or LinkedIn or whatever about a new release. So
Yeah.
if that could just be like something that's in the release leads handbook, like, hey, like liaise with Contribex
That's
contributor
it.
comms.
Yeah.
To make sure that the release announcement is made on socials, like that would be great. I would love to see that change.
I think
Okay, so
there is
yeah.
also the feature vlogs that they follow up on Blue Sky and other social. So I think that if that's what they mean about kind of collaborating between the release comms and SIG Contribex, kind of makes sense. But yeah, I think it's kind. I'm not sure how to.
Oh, we lost you, Rita.
Feature blog reviews and timeline is always can be last minute and could be difficult to
Coordinate,
collaborate. Yeah, coordinate.
I mean, there's some amount of automation going on. That means that most things that are shared in the
kind of
public
discuss with the
account.
Contribex, but yeah,
Sorry.
just yeah, talking about my experience with the release blog or the feature blogs in general.
There's automation in place for contributor comms, wherein something gets posted on the
Exactly.
Kubernetes blog, it automatically goes into buffer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There is, but I mean, I can envision circumstances that some additional or a more precise communication needs to be done, a more targeted one.
For sure.
So having something in the rulebook saying there's this thing, as part of the initial process, just present yourself and say it could be useful.
Yeah. I think that's definitely at minimum add to the lead handbook that the lead should introduce themselves to Contribex for purposes of working with contributor comms if necessary. I'll take an action item on that.
Excellent.
I would like to see more interaction between contributor comms and the release team in general. I
Yeah.
would like to be able to use contributor comms for the shadow program too. So
Perfect. Yeah, and I think, well, speaking from contributor comms, this is something that we're aware, but it never materializes. So that's why in the last meeting we had a discussion on what could we do for the next release to overcome this separation and just make sure that the resources that exist are used to their full potential.
yeah, I think this will help. Just the release lead knowing that contributor comms exists and contributor comms knowing who the lead is helpful. So we'll get that done. We are at time though.
We are at time.
Yeah.
So thank you all. I'll stop the recording by YouTube and I'll schedule the second part of the release in the following days. Stop sharing and now I need to find stop.
If anybody's curious how long it takes to give yourself a gel manicure, I've been doing it this entire meeting, and I have 2 fingers left.
I can't find a window that closes things, so I think that we'll forever be in this call.
Oh no, we're stuck.
Yeah, I mean, I have Zoom Workplace in front of me, but it's not the thing that allows me to stop the meeting. So
What operating
Stop
system are you on?
sharing your screen
I'm
and
on.
then it would. Oh, you're not sharing your screen.
No, that I was able to do. I stopped sharing, and then
What do you see on your screen? Are you seeing
well, I'll
boxes of
see.
images like videos? That
No, I
has
just
like
see that. I think that Zoom just sort of broke. Okay, so
Can you transfer host to me and I can kill the meeting?
I could if I had the meeting window, which I
Okay.
did. I don't know. Can you
If
claim it, perhaps?
Yeah, I can claim it. Just a second.
Generally, if you open the Zoom app again, it might show you back to meeting button.
Nah, but I mean, this is looking very weird. It's blinking uncontrollably.
it's too risky. That's not.
I
Save the
actually
recording.
can't claim host. We may be trapped here.
Wait. Here it is. Meeting. No, but it doesn't work, the window.
Are you on Linux?
I am on Linux, but it always works.
It just works on Linux?
I mean, everything works except this new version of Zoom today. I mean, I've been using this for years and it's fine.
I'm feeling
I
so
just
morally
wasn't able
superior on
to.
Windows right now. So
If
morally
you-
superior.
Yeah, but I have everything in front of me. It's just the window of Zoom, which is like frozen, the window itself. I can kill it, but I'm afraid that if I kill it, it's
Oh,
it's-
if you kill it, like if you
it
just
stops. Okay.
yeah, if you just like kill Zoom entirely as an application, it
Yeah.
should stop the meeting.
So wait, let me
It
transfer
should
this
or
to
it
my.
would.
Or
That's
it
So-
might transfer calls to someone else.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Yeah.
let me do it.
we'll find out.
Kill all -9 Zoom.
Bye. We'll see who gets host. Okay, so he's frozen.
Yeah, it will take a minute for Zoom to realize.
Yeah. Technology is so good. I love computers so much, y'all. They're so cool and they've never done me wrong before ever.
It's still recording though.
Well,
Yeah, the two of you now, Fred.
yeah, we see 2 of you.
You need to kill the process.
No,
and
I've killed the process completely. This the other one is likely still a ghost from the past.
Oh, Drew is the host now.
yes.
Drew,
Okay. So what do I
kill the
do?
meeting. Stop the recording and kill the meeting.
Okay.